What's good, YouTube? 2 days ago, Roddy Ricch started rolling out his upcoming album Feed the Streets 3 by releasing his first single, Ghetto Superstars. Now, to me, Roddy Ricch has always been a very, very special artist. He's someone I discovered for the first time in early 2019, right after releasing Feed the Streets 2. When I first heard Roddy back then, I thought he was a revolutionary artist. He was like a mix of Travis, Future, and Thug, but in his own unique way. His way of creating melodies was different, his ad-libs were different, his voice texture was different, on top of mimicking the flow that rap had evolved to at that point. Most importantly though, he was so creative with his voice, he didn't need a crazy beat to make an amazing record. Back then when I first discovered Roddy, both Feed the Streets 1 and Feed the Streets 2 I felt were two of the most complete projects I had ever heard in my life. They were something I could listen to and couldn't even think about skipping a song. And I felt like this about Roddy back then when he was just a brand new artist coming out. Outside of Lil Baby, I had never felt so strongly about the music I was hearing at that time period. I thought in some ways he was actually going to be a reincarnation of Drake for the new school generation of rap with all of the amazing records he was putting out. It was like nothing was amiss. Going into Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial, Roddy had me at the peak of support for his music. Everything I heard up to that point was fire. He was unique and I felt that he had a lot of room to grow while continuing to make great music. When he dropped Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial, on a commercial level he reached a new level of superstardom. The box ended up going diamond and the album today is 2 times platinum, and he gained widespread notoriety because of it. But for me personally, the album didn't hit like the Feed the Streets tapes did. I actually hated what I heard back then. From someone who loved the Feed the Streets tapes at a super high level, I felt Roddy had lost all of his rhythm. His flow slowed down so much I couldn't bob my head to the music like I used to. He also dropped the unique ad-libs that I felt amplified the old beats he was going in on. On Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial, he began developing this kind of whiny stutter flow that to me took away from what I felt he did best on his older tapes. I actually even remember telling my friends at the time that I felt that Roddy had lost what I loved so much about him back in 2018-2019. I felt the jump went from appealing to a pure hip-hop crowd to a commercial mainstream audience. And there's nothing wrong with an artist trying to appeal to a commercial mainstream audience. Every artist deserves to grow and make a bag and live an amazing life. But the problem with appealing to a mainstream audience is that they're not loyal to an artist. They're loyal to what's hot. And just to prove this, on Spotify, 85% of Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial streams are from 2 songs, The Box and High Fashion. Therefore, it shows that people weren't a huge fan of the album or Roddy himself, they were a fan of the songs because they were hot in the mainstream. If an artist appeals to their core hip-hop fan base, those people are true fans of you as the artist. And this is what I felt Roddy lost from me as a fan, someone who had listened to the Feed the Streets tapes from top to bottom well over 100 to 200 times over the years. Fast forward to Live Life Fast, his album after Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial in December of 2021, and a narrative started surrounding Roddy that he fell off from where he once was. Now, personally, I thought Live Life Fast was better than Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial. I felt Roddy had started getting back to his roots a little bit better. It didn't sound so commercial, but there definitely was not an Every Season on there, or a Die Young, or a Down Below, or a Ballin'. There were some records to me that were reminiscent of the Feed the Streets tapes though. No Way with Jamie Foxx reminded me of that same flow again. Roller Coastin' reminded me a little bit of Die Young. But for the most part, it didn't hit like it used to. One thing about great songs that hit really hard, and what I thought Roddy did so great early in his career, is that the emotion in the delivery of the artist that you can hear is very evident. You listen to Down Below and you evidently hear Roddy was singing about coming from the dirt and making it out. I felt that all the emotion in Live Life Fast was non-existent. The music sounded pretty good, but the emotion to make it great I just felt was not there. Fast forward to this week when Roddy drops Ghetto Superstars, and I hear that same slower flow that he started developing on Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial. And for me, I'm like, man, this is the rollout of Feed the Streets 3. The tapes that made me a Roddy Ricch fan and the reason that I'll tune into his music for the rest of time just to give it a chance and just to see if he can recreate that sound that I fell in love with. And I'm not saying that this is bad music. This is all good music, but there's a certain sound that Roddy built his OG fan base on. back when I felt that I was one of the only ones listening to him. And I don't feel that I'm hearing that sound anymore, and I definitely don't feel Ghetto Superstars is it. I'm hoping that with this album, Roddy can tap back into the time where he didn't have anything, what the Feed the Streets tapes is built on, the mindset that the only way he was going to make it out is if he grinded every single day to create opportunity for himself by putting all of his life experiences into the music. I pray Roddy brings this with the new tape, but to me, Ghetto Superstars didn't give me that same feeling that the old Feed the Streets tapes did. But what do you guys think about the song? Let me know in the comments down below. Like and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.